We would kick off. Oh, wow, we already have 51 people in-house, so I think it's just right time to kick off. So, good evening, distinguished ID Lions, Leos, friends from across Africa and beyond. And it's an absolute delight to welcome everyone to our fireside chat with the ID. And we've tagged this Africa Forward because we do believe it's a very special conversation with our international director. And tonight is not just an opportunity to meet one of Africa's representative on the Lions International Board, but it's also an opportunity, I would say, to explore the future of Lionism, to think about our leadership, our membership, our influence, and the contribution we all must make for the future of our association. So it's an absolute pleasure to have everyone with us this evening. Uh, it's also my very great pleasure to introduce our great international director, Lion Rajinda Singh Sembi, who is affectionately known to us as Papi. So I believe we'll now call him ID Papi. I remember having a chat with him in Hong Kong, and I'm like, when you become ID now, we might not have to be calling you Papi, but we'd have to be calling you ID Papi. And in his usual jocular manner, he says he's still Papi, and that just shows, how accommodating he is. And I'm sure most of us would attest to that. Yeah, as he has been a Lion since 1992 and a member of the Kakamega Lions Club, and he has served our association with distinction in several leadership roles, including club president, district governor, MCC, GLT constitutional area leader, and so many others, and has been a trainer of all trainers for a good number of us. He has been our faculty at one point in time or the other, and we do call him the teacher's teacher. Um, Beyond Lionism, he is also the managing director of Holding Investments Limited, where he oversees commercial property, retail leasing, and agricultural operations. He also brings many years of experience in business and leadership across civic, educational, healthcare, and sports organizations. And in within Lions, his remarkable service has also earned him a good number of um, leadership medals, presidential medals, certificates of appreciation, membership growth awards, you name it. He is also a Progressive Melvin Jones Fellow. And anyone who knows Papi, when you see Papi, when you turn around, you find his ever supportive partner, past district governor Amaprit Sembi, who is always right beside him, supporting him. So it's an absolute pleasure this evening to have ID Pape with us, and I join each and every one of us to warmly welcome him with our applause, be it electronically or physically. Thank you. All right. Before we kick off, just to also on a bit of a sad note, the Lions of Nigeria lost a past district governor 2 days ago, Lion PDG Lekom Babalola. So I'll then join us to just observe 1 minute silence and pray for the repose of his soul. May the soul of PG Lekom Babalola and the souls of all the faithful departed rest in quick peace. We pray for comfort for his family and the Lions of Nigeria. Yeah, thank you. So, ID Papi, to kick off, I would want you to share with us who you are outside Lions. Everyone knows Papi. Everyone knows that you are one of us. But it would be good to get a sense of who you really are outside Lions.
Thank you very much, Joyce, for that wonderful introduction. Well, who am I outside Lions? I'm exactly what I am in Lions. I always say, walk the path. And when I'm walking the path, what I do in my life, I do in Lions. And what I do in Lions, I do in my life. So it's something that I treat Lionism as part of my life. I treat it as a thing that gives me direction, and helping people in need really has inspired me. And this journey started for me a very long time. My father was a Lion member himself. He was a charter member of my home club. My father saw then, he made me a Leo member, and I attended a Leo camp in 1977 in Reading, UK at that time. And another thing that has really shaped my life outside Lionism is sports. I'm an avid sports person. I'm a rugby player. I've played for Kenya way back in 1986. I've also been participating in motor rallies as well. And nowadays, I believe I'm a good golfer. My son may not agree with me, but I do beat him now and then. Thank you, Joyce.
Maybe we would have you and some others on the golf course to just test and get a sense of who has a better handicap. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's good to hear. I mean, how far you've come. I mean, you've been in the Lions movement before some of us were born. I heard you said attended the Lions camp in 1977. Some of us were yet to be here, and that just shows how long you have been on this journey. What has sustained your commitment to Lionism?
I've always done one thing at a time, and I have a principle, like in sports, when you're going to do something, do the best that you can do. And when you do the best that you can do, you enjoy what you do. And when you enjoy what you do, it gives you more motivation. And in Lions, at every step, as you all know, and I've trained most of you on this call today. You know that every time it's about getting to a section, learning about it, becoming better, and moving to the next stage. The next stage teaches you more. Even today, as I've become your international director, I'm still learning, even at this particular level. And it's really a step up about what is happening at Lions, the amount of information that we are getting. So it's all about wherever you are, do the best that you can do, because that is what shapes you and your future. I never ever when I started my journey through my sponsoring line of Tar Singh Bamla, past district governor. I never ever envisaged that I would be a district governor, let alone be an international director. So put your heart into it, and believe you me, one day you may get to where you never thought you would be.
Absolutely. I mean, put your heart into it. I'm sure you started off being a lion, perhaps not with the aspiration immediately, but as you continued on your journey of impact, as you continued on your leadership journey, things would have spurred you to where you are today. Is there any particular leadership experience you would say that has prepared you for the role?
I would not say a particular one. I would say that every role that I have played, right from joining the club, becoming the club president, becoming a zone chairperson, region, a district governor, each of those have taught me how to interact with people, how to work with people. And that when I have tried to learn more, and as I've gone up, the knowledge that I have has made people come to me to seek advice from me about how to go forward. And for me to give advice to them, it has inspired me more that, wow, people are coming to me. I must be knowing something, but I should even know more because I must guide people properly. Because we always say when we are producing district governors, always remember the district governor who comes after you should be more successful than you. So it's very important to build leadership in the future because if they succeed, you have succeeded.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's investing in others, and like we always would say, when you invest in others, you are also investing in yourself, albeit sometimes it's even unconscious. Yeah. So, are there people or mentors who have shaped your leadership philosophy?
Very much so. As I said, I was just a lion very many years ago, like everybody else. I had no aspirations of being a leadership trainer. I remember very well our first vice international president, Dr. Manoj Shah. So we went to Uganda to Mbale to do a training session there. And naturally, as I went, I had a whole wad of papers with me, the way we normally do when we are starting out and very nervous. And at that time, I made the presentation. So he called me over and said, "Wow, Pape, excellent, very nice job. Can I see those paperwork?" So I gave him the papers, and he took the papers and he ripped them up and threw them away. He says, "You know your stuff, now go and do it." So we moved on to Kampala, and I had to do everything again, except without any papers. And that taught me that I have knowledge. And it's about executing that knowledge and passing that knowledge on to others. And as most of you know on this call, that I have been a trainer for very many years now. And it's an enjoyment that I started at that time. The interaction with everybody, learning from my mentees as well, learning from them what are the issues that they have, how do they solve issues. And I'm a firm believer, like in my own workplace, you talked about life and you talked about lions. If I have a plumber, I tell the plumber, this is what I want to be done. And I want it to be done like this, like this, like this. But I add one more line to it. I ask them, what do you think? Because he is doing the hard job. He is going to chase the wall. He's going to put the pipes. So he will look for a way which is easier and works better. So you always get good advice from others as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Papi. Your story shows us that international leadership begins with consistent service, with service at your club, within your community, investing in others as well, and that's critical. So now let's look at the responsibility that comes with your current role. And what does an international director actually do? And what aspects of the role are often misunderstood by lions? I mean, a lot of us just hear ID, ID, ID. We really might not have insight into what it entails.
Well, first of all, an international director must smile and pull up his mustache all the time. That's the first thing. But on the other side of it, actually, it's been quite a journey for me. And as I mentioned, that every step is a different ball game altogether. And as I have stepped onto the international board now for 1 month, I have noticed that my role has changed significantly. It has changed because now, as an international director, I'm responsible for helping shape the future of the association. We must make decisions collectively as a board so that will benefit all our lions all over the world. And the way we do that is through governance to make sure that we properly administer strongly, ethically, and transparently our organization. As an international director, we have several committees and we look at strategic planning. And the question that we are asking ourselves is how do we ensure Lions remain relevant and impactful for future generations? And of course, as an international director, I don't only now support Africa, I have to support all the constitutional areas around the world because the entire family has to be strong for our association to be strong. So it is very important that we have to also build bridges between global organization and members. So at this level now, we communicate our vision and priorities to our members, as well as taking the voices and ideas and concerns of our members, especially from Africa, back to the international board. Leadership is not only about making decisions, it's about listening, connecting, and ensuring that every lion feels that they are part of this global family. An international director is not simply a representative at board meetings. The role is to provide leadership and uphold good governance, strengthen our global organization, and ensure that every decision that we make helps us serve more people.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that insight. Governance, strategic planning, it's very critical to enhance our relevance and grow our impact. And it's good to know that, I mean, in your role, you're looking beyond Africa because, I mean, we're just one out of seven others, out of eight, yeah? And the impact we're able to make is something that is cross-cutting across the entire association. Yeah. So, as ID, I mean, you do have a 2-year tenure. Yeah. What priorities have you set for your term as ID?
It's good that every leader has an opportunity to leave a mark. But my goal is not simply just to complete a 2-year term. It is to help build a stronger, more vibrant movement across Africa. And my priorities are guided by one simple theme that I have initiated: sparkle with purpose and inspire through action. Now, sparkling with purpose, my theme begins with purpose because purpose gives meaning to everything that we do. To me, sparkling is about giving positive energy, optimism, enthusiasm in our clubs and, more importantly, in our communities. It's about creating an environment where members are excited to serve and proud to be Lions. The purpose part of it means that we must understanding why we do what we do. Every meeting should have a purpose. Every project should meet a genuine community need. Every member should feel that they are contributing something meaningful. After all, that is why they have joined. So, when clubs have a clear sense of purpose, they become vibrant, attractive, and relevant.
Hmm. That's
Then, the
deep.
second part of my theme is inspiring through action. Leadership is not measured by speeches and titles, it is measured by action. People want to see not only what they want to hear. As Lions, we lead by example. Our actions demonstrate our values far more positively. Basically, leadership begins when inspiration is followed by action. So the meetings bring the inspiration, and we have to go into action.
Yeah, thanks. Sparkle with purpose. Something that stood out is purpose gives meaning. Yeah. And it gives meaning to what we do as Lions, the impact we make, how creative and innovative we are with our service activities. That's very, very critical. And inspire through action. That's us living what we preach or practicing what we preach. Yeah. So as especially as leaders in a leadership position, a lot of people would look up to you. They would kind of want to emulate what you stand for. And that's very, very critical. And it's good to see that those are key areas that you have put out there to leave a mark at the end of your 2-year tenure. So let's move to one area that I believe, I mean, it's of great importance to us as an association. And I would say it's also one of the most important issues that is facing our association today, and that is membership. And in terms of membership, it's not merely recruiting people, but I believe it's also about creating an experience that would make them want to remain as lions. What do you think Africa must do differently to achieve sustainable membership growth?
Thank you very much. I think what we have to do in Africa is, first of all, is that to have sustainable membership growth, it's not that we must move away from this thought, it's just we need more members. But we must move towards having stronger clubs, because if we have strong clubs, we will attract the membership to come in. And that's why I say that it's important that people, when the members of the public want to join Lions and become a Lion, that they want to join an organization that is organized. And we are a very organized association. So, if Africa is to sustain sustainable membership, we must stop asking, how do we recruit more members? And start asking, how do we build clubs that people are proud to belong to? Sustainable growth is built on strong foundations. We must have a healthy club culture. People must want to come to the club. That attracts membership. We must have a quality induction of new members coming in, because records have shown at Lions Clubs International that a member who stays more than after 2 years is more likely to continue for the next 40 years. So it's the induction is very important. The experience when a new member comes in at our club level is very important. And then, of course, very important is mentoring. We must be mentors. And I think that is very important. Anybody coming into a new organization, they must be mentored, because they are totally oblivious to what exactly how we run. Yes, if you
Yes.
ask somebody, have you heard about lions? Oh, yeah. Do you know what they do? I think so. Eyesight, and that's it. So, when they don't really know what you're doing, it is our responsibility to mentor them. And then, once we bring them in, it's important that we do meaningful service straight from the get go. Involve people in, let them see, because it is the service that makes the difference. When they come and they touch somebody's heart, their heart also gets touched, and that's why they stay with you then.
Yeah, thank you very much, ID. Stronger clubs, again, that it's back to us as Lions. What are we doing deliberately here? A healthy club culture, you said, and that's very, very critical. How receptive and welcoming our clubs. I know we always tease, the old folks like the charter members and say, they are the landlords, and or this is how we do things around here. Sometimes we're not open to new ideas, especially from new members. That's key. And of course, you mentioned quality induction, mentorship, and a lot of hand holding, but ultimately also impactful service, because that would help enrich, I would say, member experience. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, a lot of clubs also struggle to attract and retain young professionals, or also have more Leos transitioning into Leo Lions. Is there anything you think we're able to do differently to engage young professionals or encourage more Leo to Lion conversion?
Thank you
I
very
mean,
much,
you
Joyce, for
sharing
that.
from your experience coming from a Leo to a Lion as well.
Yes, yes, yes. And yes, clubs do struggle. but they struggle because we do not have structures put in place and the understanding of the youth. Like you quite rightly put it, some people think that the club belongs to them, but they don't realize that we have all moved on. Our association is more than 100 years old. But to be very honest with you, in fact, in Africa, we are doing very well compared to the rest of the world to attract young lions and professionals coming in. In fact, in Africa, we are the head of the world. We are engaging, we have taken on more members who are under 45 this year than in other parts of the world. Already we have taken this current year, we have taken about 4,000 members coming on in the last Lionistic year who are under 45. But we also have a great Leo movement. In Africa, we have 566 Omega Leo clubs. Omega means that they're ready to transition into a Leo Lion club. And to support the Omegas, we have 171 Alpha clubs. It is up to us to make sure that they understand the transition. Right now, as I speak to you, we have 1,609 Omega Leos who are now aging out. The question is, what are we doing to make sure that they age out of the Leo Omega and move into Leo Lions or Lions? So we have to work at our district levels. We have to work at our club levels. Our club advisors at the Omega level must create that knowledge in the Omega Leos that they must continue the journey forth. And I'm very proud to say that when I came back from Hong Kong, that in my own club, from the Leo Club of Kutch, I personally sponsored and inducted one Leo to become a lion. Why can't we all do that ourselves?
Well, that's a charge to every one of us that we should be very hands-on and deliberate in encouraging Leos to transition to lions. And something you mentioned caught my attention. That's Leo advisors. And I'm not so sure a lot of clubs have such. And so I think that's something that is a take home that we need to look into across our various districts or multiple districts to encourage that. No doubt. I mean, Africa is a continent with a very large population of young people, and there's nothing that should stop us as Lions from having such young people bring the energy, the creativity, and the innovation to Lionism. Yeah. Uh, so how would you say Lions can also, I mean, preserve our traditions? We are an association with traditions, yeah, and with an identity, while embracing innovation or new ways of service. How do we also preserve those traditions?
You know, we must understand that the world has really moved on in the last 50 years. We are not what we were 50 years ago. And today's young professionals have grown up in a very different world from the previous generations. Like you quite rightly mentioned, I was a Leo in 1977. Many things have changed since then. But today's Leos they are very ambitious, the young professionals. They are connected and they are accustomed to innovation. So we must also change our ways. They also want to be inclusive, they want to be responsive, and they want to be relevant. So it's very important that we ensure that if our clubs continue to operate like they did 20 or 30 years ago, we risk becoming disconnected from the very generation that we hope that will attract more members. Modernizing what we do doesn't really mean that we are abandoning our traditions. It means presenting traditions in a way that resonates with today's world. So we have to keep changing. We have to keep inspiring. So our values will remain timeless, but our methods must continue to evolve all the time. We must have flexible meetings so we can accommodate the youngsters. Because, the young people are not our future lions. We must consider them to be part of our present situation. The question really here is not whether are they ready to be lions. The question that I see is, are the lions ready for them? Are we ready to accommodate them? Are we ready to change the way we run our clubs so that our clubs become more attractive to them? Are we going to be flexible in our meetings? Are we going to look at digital communication so that messages get out a lot quicker? Are we going to look at how we mentor, how we professional, how we can help them do their professional networking, so they also grow in their careers as well? Because if we build stronger people, we build stronger members. If we build stronger members, we help more communities.
Absolutely. I mean, you couldn't have said that any better, yeah. Inclusivity, we need to evolve, yeah. And I like the way you put it that we should present tradition in ways that are relatable to today's young people. That's very critical. We can't be doing things the same way, but there's a way we can frame them to be in line with today's realities. And that's us evolving, that's us being dynamic, that's us being receptive of change. I mean, we always would say the only constant thing in life is changing. And we need to be an organization that is reflective of that, that is evolving with times. I mean, even the way we serve now has evolved, you know. The entire conversation on Zoom, leveraging on technology, I would say, is also an evolution. We do have clubs now that are cyber clubs and they only meet online. We've had very successful programs that have been 100% virtual, and that's us evolving as an association. And talking about young people, I think where we are being more deliberate. We've seen a lot of young lions or Leo lions who have proven themselves, you know, by delivering when given the opportunity to do so. And that just shows us that there's enormous potential in young people. We just need to give them the responsibility and give them the chance and give them a voice. And from what you've said, I believe that is something we would see more of in the course of your tenure as ID. Yeah, so another thing is just to get a sense of, you know, we are the eighth constitutional area, the newest constitutional area, though we wouldn't still call ourselves new. What do you think is a unique contribution that Africa can make to the future of Lions International?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a very good question. We are already making a mark in the world. First of all, when we became a constitutional area, we all decided to work as a team. And I think it's very important for us to know that when we started this journey of becoming a constitutional area, we were divided on the continent of Africa. We were divided between French speaking Africa and English speaking Africa. But through teamwork, we decided to come together through our past international directors who put Africa together. And since that time, as a constitutional area, we have been growing. We are one of the only constitutional areas that have been growing year in, year out. So that's a great contribution that we have made, that other areas are actually dropping in members and we are increasing in members. And we are showing that Lionism is still thriving. Another great thing that we are doing on the continent of Africa is our male to female ratio as well. Compared to the rest of the world, we are doing very well. Worldwide, uh, we have a female population of 40, a female population of lion members is 41.95, while the worldwide average is 33.47. It's created a different impact altogether. When we have brought women on board, we are also bringing families on board. When we bring on families on board, we are creating future leaders within those particular families. And Lions Clubs International has helped that a lot with a family membership program. So there's a lot of things that we are doing. And for very many years, people have talked about what can Lions do for Africa. I believe the time has come to ask a different question. What can Lions do, or what can Africa do for Lions International? Our continent has unique strengths that can help shape this organization. The first thing that we have is what we talked about before, the young population. Our population is young. Other constitutional areas, they are much older and they're aging. We are young, so we have the opportunity to expand. Our youth are not waiting for the future, they're here now to help us create it. We have good community spirit as well. We also have innovation despite limited resources, but we have a lot of innovation in Africa, in all parts of the world. And another thing that we have is we never give up easy. And that's the beauty of Africa. We have seen hardships, we go through them, we're resilient. Where resilience also transforms opportunities for service as well. The other thing that we have in Africa, which is very different from all other constitutional areas, and that's diversity. East, north, south, west, all of Africa is very different, but we are the same. And that is not a barrier, but our greatest strength. All we have to do is to work together as a team, to understand that each other's effort reflects on the next person as well. So let's work together. And that's my vision as an international director, to be here with all of you. And I'm so happy because I've been around in Africa, I know most of the people, and I want us to work together. I want us to build Africa to show that we can grow. So I think that Lions International are going to shake at their feet when they see Africa grow from strength to strength. For your information, Dr. Manoj Shah at a recent GAT meeting in Addis Ababa, he set a target. He says, when I become international president in Washington in July 2027, I would like to have Africa at a figure of 40,000 members. We are currently 38,500. To me, that's a low target. If we look after and bring our members in a proper manner. Number two, we must retain the members that we have. That is what is going to lead to growth. We are experts, believe you me, in bringing in new members. But at the same time, we are not very good at closing the back door. So this is what I would like our members to do in this particular year, and of course the year after, is if we are to grow membership, it means that we must have membership that is valued by people. If they value it, and like I said, when I first started this particular talk with you, it's about passion. If you enjoy what you do, you will do it more. And when you do it more, you will have fun. And when you will have fun, people will see and they will come and join you. And I think you have seen me many a time, Joyce. I'm always smiling and I always make sure that things happen. As a trainer, I think most of you have worked with me. I always say, don't complain about what you don't have. Make do with what you have and make it work. And that's what we must do in Africa. And that's what we must do in each and every district and in each and every club.
Yeah, thank you. Never complain, make do with what you have. We have so much talent. We have so much within us as Africans, our resilience, our young population, our diversity, all works in our favor. And I think it's for us to harness all this to enable us, make an impact. Something that you said that stood out, which I think it's a huge plus, is the male to female ratio. It's interesting to see that we do have almost at par, within male and female. Well, perhaps in another couple of years we'd have more females because girls run the world, so we'll keep making effort towards that. But then another thing you mentioned that's very important, and I believe for each and every one of us, is a strong take home and also a challenge. Yeah, is surpassing the 40,000 membership by 2027. And indeed, that's going to take a lot of hard work. We do have the population. It's just going to be a lot of, I believe, determination and consistency and deliberate planning towards that. Like you said, it's a target that I believe is achievable if we are about 37,000 now. Hitting another 3,000 or perhaps even 5,000 in the next 2 years is something I believe if we do put our mind to, we are able to achieve. And that will be dependent on a lot of things you had mentioned earlier, which is, you know, deliberate recruitment, closing the back door, enriching member experience. I think those are key takeaway for us. And I'm sure for most of us on this call, we're taking notes of that. And under your guidance and leadership as ID, even if I'm committing for everyone without asking, I believe we would achieve and surpass that target. Yeah, that's very, very critical. Uh, okay, I thought to also ask, yeah, in terms of Africa's voice and influence within the global association, how do you think or how do you plan for us to increase our voice?
Yeah, thank you very much. Africa's voice will only go stronger as our impact grows. We have a tremendous potential, and by working together, as I said, we can shape the future of Lions International. But the power of one is very critical. One member, one club, one zone, one region, one district, one multiple, and one CA. That power of one keeps on multiplying as we go up. So, membership growth is critical for us to have a voice. Because when people see numbers, they see, wow, how is it that Africa is growing so quickly? Why aren't we going as well like them? And when we go, people will want to partner with you. Everybody likes to be associated with success and growth. So, if we want to be successful, we must start at club level. We must make sure that our clubs are properly equipped. We must make sure that they're running the clubs properly, and that comes through training. It comes through training, training, and training. It's about never giving up. It's about going back to that club again and again and again. Because what has been happening over the years is that maybe some club has not been doing something right, and then it's gone to the next year and the next year, and the wrong things have been perceived to be right.
Mm.
But we must make sure that they understand the constitution. We must make sure that they know how to run their clubs so that they can attract members to come to their club. Me, myself, every day, and I challenge each and every member on the continent of Africa, whenever you see me, you will never, ever see me without my lion's pin on, even on the golf course. So make sure that if you're proud, have your pin on. Being able to talk to people to bring them into our association. That is the way that we will grow our voice. And of course, our young population is there. And I'm so proud that in Africa, that the leadership that we have with our women in who are Lion members, how they're coming into leadership positions and expanding. And that is also inspiring others to join us as well. So that is how our voice can be heard. But the other thing that is very critical is telling our story as Africa, telling our story from the different parts of Africa. Because if someone else tells our story, they will not say the way we want it to be heard. We must create our stories to tell them the impact that we are making in our communities, to tell them that join us and we can do a lot more together. And of course, we are very proud that in Africa, always the thinking of the other parts of the world has been Africa always wants. But Africa is giving to Lions Clubs International Foundation. In fact, we shocked the foundation by the amount of money that we are giving to LCIF. And now they are prepared to work with us in partnership, because partnerships is not just about receiving, it's also about giving. And that's another thing that we must build up on so that we can share our success stories on bigger projects that we're doing together.
Absolutely. I mean, you've touched on very key points. Yeah, partnership. There's so much we can do when we collaborate. Yeah, not limiting to us as Lions, but with government, with other volunteer organizations, with corporate bodies as well. I always tell people that a lot of companies have large CSR budgets and are looking for credible associations like ours to partner with. But then how do we position ourselves to take advantage of those partnerships? Those are very, very critical. A key thing you also mentioned is telling our story. Yeah. And that's key. How are we telling our stories? How are we telling our stories of impact? Yeah. How do people get to know what we do as Lions, the lives that we touched? And if we don't tell our stories, people would tell our stories in ways that might not be a plus, for us. That might end up underselling us or the impact that we do make as Lions. That's very, very key. And good to also note that you mentioned, I mean, our increased contribution to LCI. I'm LCI coordinator in my district, so I'm pleased to hear that a lot of hard work goes into it. But it's good to see that increasingly, as Lions within Africa, we are appreciating the value of contributing to our foundation. So we are not just receiving, but we are contributing, and the foundation sees us as partners. And I believe with increased giving, we're able to do more. So for every Lion on the call, if you have not donated to LCIF, please ensure that you donate, even if it's at least $20, $10, whatever you're able to contribute. Like the popular quotes would say, or saying would say, every little drop of water makes an ocean. So donate to LCIF, tell your story. And I think I would hinge on that and ask, what do you think is the role of data and evidence in demonstrating the impact of our service across Africa?
Well, it's so important because nowadays the membership dues that we pay, we have a thing called the Lions Portal. That contains a lot of information that a lot of people can access. So we must change our ways of using digitalization. Sorry, it's very late here, by the way. Digitalization in the very many different aspects that are there, Instagram, Facebook, and all the other social media platforms that we have. Because the more we are out there, the marketing is very important. And Lions Clubs International has a committee on the board which is looking at marketing itself. So imagine if Lions Clubs International at the international level have a committee, our club committees also have to perform to make sure that we market ourselves. Because when we market ourselves, people ask, is that what you do? How do you do it? And how do I become a lion? And that's where the conversation and telling a story starts. So it's very important that we digitalize ourselves. It's very important that we are seen as the brand that we are, that has integrity, that spends the money that it collects on the community, not on ourselves. So I think that's a critical difference we must put out to people, that whatever monies we collect, we don't go and buy a Range Rover or a Parado to go around. We make sure that that money benefits the community. So we must use these digital platforms to make sure that the correct message gets out. And again, we have a powerful tool, the youth, to do that for us.
Absolutely. I mean, at a click of the button, you reach millions, and young people will tell the story in a way that is captivating. So we're gradually
And
winding.
let me add to that, Joyce, before you carry on. In this world, you do not need to know how to do everything. You just need to know how to get it done. Like myself, for example, when I need something to be done, I turn to my spouse, Amaprit. She helps me a lot. When it comes also to digital work, I go to my son, Harpal, or my Leo district president, Colin Zojiwa. They come and help me on the technology part of it because I can only do so much, and then I learn from them as well. So never limit ourselves and say, this is all that we can do. Always be ready to ask someone who's even younger than you for that assistance, because they will be building you and you will be building them.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I always call reverse mentoring, yeah. When the supposed expert in certain things is having to learn, other skills from people who are much younger than you are. And I believe that has a lot to do with being very self-aware, you know your strengths, you know when to call on others to help. And that's the whole idea of us being together as lions, yeah. Everyone brings a unique competence to the table, and pulling all those collective competencies and resources would only help enhance our impact and strengthen our service. Yeah. So what would you
And
say your leadership?
I do tell all of them, I try to teach them all how to grow a good mustache, but somehow they're not learning from me.
they are,
Sorry, that's on a lighter note.
they are not learning, or you have not been successful in teaching them. We would blame you, the teacher. you know so what would you describe your leadership style in 3 words?
In 3 words, my word, that's difficult. My leadership style is that I like to be open, I'm approachable, and I'm ready to assist at any time. The way I do my lionism, if someone calls me, I will leave my own work to make sure that I answer them first. That's the way I work. So I have a passion. Bottom line is that. Sorry, that's more than 3 words.
But I mean, a lot of us can attest to that. You're approachable. We joke. You're very open. You're very receptive, and I think that's very critical for any leader, especially when leading volunteers. That's key.
Like,
So, what advice would you give a lion who has the ability to lead but is reluctant to step forward?
we say that if you don't open the door, you don't know what's behind the door. So don't be reluctant. I come from a very small town called Kakamega. If I had not pushed that door at every stage to see what is behind that door, I would have stayed in this small town and just seen what is happening here. Today, I interact with lions all over the world. I did never realize when I started that I was not as gregarious as I am today uh, at that time. But as you go on, you learn to talk to more people. You learn to be able to communicate by voice, by looks as well, by written communication. All these things you keep on changing as you move on. So don't say no to an opportunity. Lionism is an opportunity for you to grow, for you to learn, and for you to make a difference in the community. Don't be scared, because you will learn, and what you learn in Lions, you can apply in your own life and become more successful.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say Lions it's a training ground, yeah, for so many things, and a lot of the skill set we do end up learning as lions, we are able to use in different spheres of life. So, what message would you like to leave with every lion and Leo on the call this evening?
Okay, that's a good one. The key message is, first of all, let's be proud to be a lion or a Leo. Pride is the first thing. Because if you are proud, you'll be able to go and speak with your heart. And people can see when you speak from your heart. And when you speak from your heart, you actually say, well, you can inspire others that they want to be a part of you. So let's continue to inspire. Let's make the African voice a lot stronger. Let us build strong clubs on strong foundations. And believe you me, together we can do it. I am always there for you. I'm just a phone call away, WhatsApp, email. I will always respond to anybody who comes to me. As I told you in Hong Kong, please, although I am your ID, but I'm still Pape Sembi to all of you. I am a lion first. The title is just the title, but the title is to help all of us progress together and to make sure that our association stays strong for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for that confirmation, ID Papi. I'm still struggling to say ID Papi. Papi comes up. Thank you very much for that assurance and guarantee, ID. You can be sure that at every point in time, if there's any need, we definitely would come knocking. We do have a couple of questions that were dropped in the chat box. One says, what is LCI doing to recognize long-serving lions?
Okay, they do quite a bit actually. First of all, we have a thing called Chevron Awards. I'm not sure if everybody has been receiving them. What sometimes happens is that the leadership sometimes don't pass them on to the member. But every time you come to a particular number of years, be it 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, 50, they give you a chevron.
Starts with 10.
And what?
Starts at 10.
And it starts at when you have achieved 10 years as a lion. So this is the thing that they have for you to recognize where you are.
All right, thanks. I mean, I do know I've received those little pins that you can attach, yeah, and it's for leadership to pass on. And I believe sometimes also the challenge is sometimes I realize that people have incorrect mailing addresses on their records, so sometimes they end up not getting those pins. So for those asking, just ensure that your records are up to date, and I'm sure those pins will typically be dispatched. Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
Joyce, just to correct that, just to let you know, the Chevron Awards are sent to the district governors by Lions Clubs International. And it is the responsibility of the district governors to ensure that they are given out at an appropriate ceremony. So
okay.
that's the way they come. But I also agree with you. As I mentioned before, Lions Clubs International has really evolved when we increased our fees that we are paying. The computer systems that we have now in place, we have Eddie on board as well on our portal to help us. And all these things have made a real difference. And it's very important. A computer system, Ellie, AI, is only as good as the information we give it. So let's make sure that our members' information in the portal is correct to the detail.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. And there's another question that says, why does Lions International not consider liberalizing life membership? I'm not sure.
Okay, what do you mean by liberalizing it? Because it's an honor to be a life member.
Okay.
It is liberalized if you look at it. It's the way you want to look at it. It's a certain number of years that you have to serve. There's a certain amount that you have to pay for you to become a member, a life member. You have to have been a lion for at least 15 years and attained the age of 70 years old. So the criteria is there in our constitution. So of course, uh, for financial sustainability, life membership, there's a one-time fee that has to be paid, and then you don't pay your international dues after that. And Lions Clubs International would encourages members to continue, and life membership is part of that. It reinforces that they value you. It reinforces that you have committed your life to Lions. And that is why, when you are given an honor of getting life membership, it is because you have served for a long period of time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, ID. There's another question. Well, you had touched on that a bit, but maybe just to reemphasize, how do you encourage Lions to embrace collaboration or partnership with government and other NGOs?
Okay, now this is now changing from area to area. Everybody knows that dealing with governments is sometimes very good and very easy, and sometimes very complicated and very difficult. It all depends on the contact and the type of a relationship that you have with the government in the country that you are in. Of course, it's all about change of mindset. In Africa, we have changed tremendously over the last 20 years. All our countries have changed a lot. But have our mindsets changed both at government level and at Lions level? We must make sure that the government understands the benefit that they can get from having Lions as partners. And we must understand the benefit we can give to our communities by having partnerships with the government so to enhance their projects. Because at the end of the day, remember, all of us are supplementing government efforts. We are not working against any government. We are supplementing the efforts because we want our citizens to have a reasonable quality of life. Then, of course, partnership with governments is about what I told you before, sharing our stories, our success stories, how we raise our funds, what we do, how we do it, what impact it makes, and how we partner with health organizations and how they can be a part of us so we can do a project bigger and better to aid the community. Of course, another thing that a partnership with government is to build confidence in leaders. Make sure that we as Lions, we wear our pins. So when we go there, they see that we are proud of who we are. So they also start talking about, can we become members? I know in some countries in Africa, there's a strong participation of Lion members who work in government. But in other parts of Africa, there's a lesser amount. So we need to work to make sure that we work together with governments. We must understand that at the end of the day, our mission is to help the community that we are with. And we must be legally correct in every country. So whatever that we need to do, we go with clean hands and with something that we want to help solve problems together.
Yeah, thank you, ID. I mean, that's critical. Context would determine how certain things would work in certain climes, and it's important that we are very mindful of that and explore whatever is possible in our own context. We do have another question. It says, is there any correlation between how an environment can limit or enhance the capability of any leader, and how can a leader survive a toxic environment? Interesting.
I'd ask the person asking that question to go and do an RLLI, ELLI, RLLI, and then an FDI. No, but it's a good question. Environments are always toxic everywhere you do. But do we give up on life? Do we say, oh, it's toxic and you leave? What have you achieved? If people are looking at us as leaders, people who solve issues, if there are issues there, we must solve the issue, not run away from the issue. Because if we don't have the strength and the courage to do it, I always say, don't look at the people who are just above you, also look at who is below you. Remember, you are there to protect the people who are below you. So you must have the courage to face challenges, conflicts, and there are ways of handling conflicts. If I ask everybody on this call now to put on the chat how many different conflict resolution styles are there, I'm sure that I will get a few good answers, I hope. So let's learn about conflict resolution. Don't shy away from conflict. We are a very structured organization. We have a thing called a constitution, international, multiple district, right up to club level. Be knowledgeable. Once you are knowledgeable, you can then stand your ground and do the right thing the right way and strengthen our organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Papi. That's very spot on. And we also have a course on the Lions Learning Center about conflict resolution as well. Yeah, so that's
Yes.
something. Okay, one last question. It says, can we have a special package for meeting Mission 1.5, such as the one we had during the COVID era? I hope this person is not calling back the COVID era.
So could you repeat that question?
It says, can we have a special package for meeting Mission 1.5, such as we had during the COVID era? I think this is in relation to discounts on dues. I think during COVID, there was some, review, or I think on the dues, if I
I
recall.
don't think there was a review on dues in the COVID period. I have not yet understood that question fully. But what you must understand is that concessions, do we really need a concession? The question here is, are we an expensive organization? Have you done comparisons with other organizations and the value that a member gets from joining our organization? We must understand that to grow, our international headquarters has to grow. They also need fees as well. Okay, they also need capital to be able to serve each and every member. So let us not look at what can Lions Clubs International do for us. Let us say, what can we do for them? What can we solve ourselves to achieve Mission 1.5? At the end of the day, remember, Mission 1.5 is not about numbers. Remember, Mission 1.5 is about serving people in our communities. So never forget that. It's not about numbers, it's not about money, it's about service to the community. I will still think about that question a bit more and maybe come back to it.
Well, there was a bit of more clarity. It says it was a waiver on the entrance fee.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
At that time, because why was there a waiver on entrance fee at that time? Because our computer systems were not in place the way they are today. Okay, but it's something that we can discuss with Lions Clubs International. Just for your information, and now that it's been brought up, I happen to be sitting on the membership committee at Lions Clubs International. It's something that we could look at to do that. But maybe what we need to do is have a proposal put forward to us. But what would you like? What would you like us to do? But one thing I want all members to understand, fees is not just for Africa. Fees is for the entire world. Okay? So you got to understand that the joining fee is something that there's an expense to putting information onto the portals, and there are kits that have to be sent. So there are many other expenses that validate that expense that they're talking about. But if that member has a valid point, they can write to me. I can take a look at it, and we can take it forward. There's no harm in that. Remember, I'm your voice. I'm not here to tell you what to do. It is for you to say, what do you want? And then I take it ahead to go and discuss it.
Thank you for that reminder, that you are our voice. And we would always remember that we can send all our issues, we can send all our problems to you. Yeah. All right. I see we do have one hand, and I think we would take just perhaps two interventions before we let you go because it's late at your end. So we have Kalulu Ngobi. You can unmute and speak.
Yeah, thank you very much, President, and I'm delighted to be hearing from my ED. We have I have two issues. One, the first one is we have told to close the back doors, and it's true we are trying to close the back doors, but sometimes we have this issue of bring them back. Now the question is, when they come, we bring them back. There is again a reactivation fee. Would you like to comment about that? The second one is you always and everybody is proud about your mosque. Would you like to comment about it? Thank you.
Well, I say that I live in a very small town, not much to do, and that's why I grow my mustache. So come and live in a small town with me, and we'll go it together. But when it comes to the reactivation fee is for the club, a full club that goes into status quo and is cancelled, and then has to be reactivated. And there's a cost to it because remember that people they have to put all this information back. But why go to that stage in the first place? Why aren't we, as district governance teams, as district cabinet officers, as club officers, why are we letting our clubs come to that stage? Because a club doesn't come to that stage overnight. It takes time. And there are indicators on our club health assessments that tell us that these clubs are not doing well. Are we looking at them? And if we're looking at them, are we reacting to them? Are we doing anything about them? At the end of the day, we can look at something on a piece of paper and put that piece of paper down. Is that an action? Yes, it is, but no, it's not. An action means that you have to have a one-on-one talk with those people. Because sometimes, like we have a very important officer called a zone chairperson, the closest contact to the club. We have a zone chairperson because they're from outside the club. They can come and see a situation in a different way. And they can then say, okay, in this club, this is what is happening in this club. So why don't you change your ways like this? A club member himself or herself cannot say it in their club because they will be ostracized. So my answer to you would be fix that problem of that reactivation fee. Don't let it get to that stage in the first place. Make sure we look at our clubs and we try to rectify our clubs before we get to that stage. Thank you.
I was actually referring to an individual member who may have been in that club for about 2, 3, 4 years, but for one reason or another is leaving, is not being able to pay for that year, possibly because of sickness or other reasons. But when and is deleted, so when it comes back, there is a charge which he has to pay for that. That's what I meant.
Okay, sorry. Okay, now I've understood the question a lot better. It all depends on how long has the member been away for. If it's more than 12 months, then there's a fee that is charged. But if it's less than 12 months, there's not a fee that is charged. That's the knowledge I have, but I will do a bit of reading on that and then I'll get back to you. I don't want to give you a long answer. I'd rather give you an answer that I'm 100% sure of. So I will make sure I get that answer. I'll send it to Joyce, who can forward it to you. Okay.
Thank you, ID.
Thank-
We do have another question. It says, we often focus on growing our membership. In your experience, what is more important for the long-term success of a club? Recruiting new members or retaining and engaging existing ones? And how can clubs strike a right balance?
Like I'd like now go back to my rugby playing days. I was a very good rugby player very many years ago. But today, if you ask me to go and play, I don't think I could even run 22 yards to go and play. So, what happens to members? Yes, it's good to retain them. I have a lot of knowledge on how to play rugby, where to be, but sometimes I cannot be on that part of the field because I don't have the energy. So that is why we need to bring in new young members. I would like to take an example of my own club. We are businessmen, we are busy. Yes, we are earning money. We brought on a Leo Omega club, and those guys have so much energy, so much time on their hands to go and do activities. So what is happening then is that they bring in new ideas as well. New members bring in new ideas. I'll give you an example. We went to donate a wheelchair. And normally, as a traditional lion, we go, we give a wheelchair, or we are the lions, we have come to give you a wheelchair. My Leos were with me, and they said to that community, to the place we went to give a wheelchair, there are 5 lions here. So in this homestead, we would want you to plant 5 trees, and then we will come and check that they're doing well. So imagine from one activity, they created it to be two, a wheelchair donation and also an environmental activity. So, yes, it's good to have the older members because they have institutional knowledge. They know how to do things. They have the capacity. But it's also very important to bring in new members with fresh ideas and the people who have the energy to do more. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pape. We do have one hand. I see Lion Kojo. We lost him.
No, I'm
He's
here.
there.
All right, super.
Good evening, everybody, and good afternoon from here. I left the first question on the chat. I think you skipped it, but I will repeat that question and then I'll add the second question. So the first question was SCIF is big on diversity and inclusion, which you had earlier mentioned today. It's taken us over 100 years from the formation of Lions Club for us to get an international president from Africa. So, is there anything in place to ensure an even distribution of the international presidency amongst the various constitutional area rather than most times shifting towards some particular constitutional area? That is one. Two, in the course of your discussion, you said let's not ask what Lions can do for Africa, but what Africa can do for Lion. However, I have a different opinion in respect of SCIF grants to to the various constitutional areas. I'll give you a typical example. We know that third world countries need more grants or help in infrastructures than countries like America and Canada. Now, for last year, Africa got Africa got about $2.2 million, and then Europe got $7 million. East Asia got 10 point something million. India, South Asia, Mid East got $10.9 million. So in the compression, meeting. So they got that amount. They got that amount, and if you want to start saying, "Oh, it's because of what they brought in that they are taking back," then let's go back to the funds that were raised by the various constitutional area. Constitutional one gave about 13 point something million dollars last year, but they only got about 3 million thereabout. Commissioner 5 gave about $30 million and they got 10. So they still have like 20 left. So I think there's a need for SCIF to look inwards and see how they can distribute more funds into third world countries to be able to relieve or bring smiles to the less privileged in these places. So I want you to see how you can tie the donations based on what I've said and the distribution back to the constitutional areas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that, for those facts and figures at this time. But what I would like to just say is that I don't think that there's any disparity there. I think what the issue is that each multiple district gets two grants to do. It depends on the time of how long those grants take to get done before another grant can be applied for. And the biggest problem we have in Africa is giving the reports on time and then meeting the timelines for when the next grant can be approved. But I will certainly find out more about this. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. As I said, if you don't tell me, I don't know. I will go and find out a lot more about this and understand that is it that they have a policy of not giving so much more to Africa, and if so, why? But I do believe that they look at projects and they look at that the project must satisfy the criteria that the Lions Clubs International Foundation have set. I know that very many grants have been rejected because they do not meet the criteria that have been set by Lions Clubs International Foundation.
Sustainable.
And the projects have to be sustainable. That's very important for Lions Clubs International Foundation, that they don't want to give money today for a club, for a project to be done, and it closes down in a little while to come. But thank you for that information. I will certainly look into it. And there was a question before that. He talked about, there was another question before that. He had two questions.
International presidents, how are they?
Yeah, the international presidents. Now, just for your information, like the international directors, we in Africa, we were first aligned with ISAME, and we used to get an international director after 10 years. Then we started getting it after 3 years, after we started growing and started roaring in Africa that we are different to ISAME and we want to be different. The same thing applies to international presidents as well. We are very privileged to have an international president being a new constitutional area. But Lions Clubs International have a rotation system in place where we get, for 2 years, we get a president coming from America, then another year from Europe, another year from the Orient, the Far East, another year from Australia, India, and now Africa has now slotted in themselves. So yes, there is a rotation system which is in place at Lions Clubs International.
All right. Thank you very much, Papi, for your responses to all our questions. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you. Tonight's conversation, I believe, has reminded each of us that Africa's future within Lions International would not be determined only by numbers. It will be determined by the quality of our leadership, the relevance of our service, the strength of our clubs, and I believe our willingness to work together. You spoke a lot about teamwork, and that's very, very key. So I believe for us, the challenge before us is to move from being just observers of the future, but becoming architects of it. Our future is dependent on what we do today. And I'm sure with your leadership in the next 2 years, we would achieve and maximize the great potentials that Africa has. So as we go back to our clubs, our districts, let's get ready to mentor new leaders. Like you said, let's ensure we do have welcoming environments, encourage women and young people. Let's build new partnerships. Let's tell Africa's story of impact with great confidence. Let's leverage on social media and technology to amplify our voice. And it's important for us to know that Africa is not waiting for its moment. Africa must lead its moment, and that it's now, I would say. So thank you again, ID. And I want everyone to turn on their camera. So let's get a picture. It's not every time you have the opportunity of taking a picture with a man with a mustache. So let's take advantage of it. Yeah. Yeah. You still haven't given us the secret to growing a good mustache. But we would come to Kakamega. You said we have to come there to be able to learn. We will be there.
Correct. Correct,
Please,
correct, correct.
let's turn on our cameras so that we can get a snapshot. Okay. 1 second. Okay, good. So, I have to take different screens. So, one down.
As you're taking the photo, I'd just like to tell everybody thank you very much for being part of this session. As I say, I feel very much at home with each and every one of you, and please feel at home with me. Anything that you have, I'm always there for you. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.